Well, hi stamping friends, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers coming to you from Zeeland, Michigan. I have another video today that's kind of in my new color series, highlighting some of the brand new Stampin' Up! Colors, but I have a ton of tips for you guys using some of the new products in this video as well. It's a short one, so you don't have to watch for very long, but make sure you watch it to the end because you're not going to want to miss some of those tips. But we're focusing on these two cards today. Now, these are two of the brand new colors that are part of the Neutrals collection. Now, if you're like me, you kind of thought, they're not really neutral. And it's an interesting concept, the way Stampin' Up! Has put some of these colors into the neutrals, but I think eventually it'll start feeling like a neutral to us. But it's Merlot and Mossy Meadow. Aren't they pretty? I can't wait to do some Christmas cards with these. These are deep, rich colors. This is a beautiful burgundy color. I really like these colors. I don't know if the camera's doing them justice or not. But the other thing I want to talk about are the designer series paper that I've used on this, and I'm so excited about this. Stampin' Up! Did a paper collection to go with the 4 different color collections. So these are the neutrals papers. Now the prints are the same in each one. You're going to get 2 different polka dots, okay, one with the white and one with the lighter color, and then on the back sides are 2 different stripes. Each pack you get 2 sheets of each of the papers, but these papers are going to be perfect for all of your card making. And when you pick up all the different packs for all the color groups, you're going to have paper to go with every single color. So here we are, back to our Mossy Meadow and Merlot. Now some of you might remember Mossy Meadow. That wasn't in color a while ago. So now I want to just show you a couple of quick tips on these cards, along with a couple of other brand new products that I know you're going to want to hear about. So first off, let's talk about this card. Don't you love this saying? Maybe I can't stop the downpour, but I'll always join you for a walk in the rain. I have so many people I could send this card to right now. I think I'm going to probably make up a whole bunch of them. But this is part of the stamp set called Friendly Conversations. It's just got the 2 main greetings and then a heart and a little flourish thing. But you'll notice my card doesn't open or doesn't close completely. I left it a little bit short here. The base of this is actually 5.5 by 7. So it gives you just a little interesting fun fold, I guess you would call it. Then my DSP on the front here is 2 3/4 by 5.5, and this little strip is only a 1/2 inch. And then we got a piece of white on the inside for 2.5 by 5.25. Now don't worry about those measurements. If you didn't get them or didn't get a chance to write them down, I'm going to have them all written down in the blog post. There will be at the end, it'll tell you the date of it, and in the description of the video we'll give you a link to that blog post. But I'll have a list of all of the products I'm using as well as all of the measurements and then several pictures of the cards so you can easily make this. Quick and easy cards these are. But a couple of tips. Let's talk first about this big stamp. How many of you guys are in love with the stamparatus? You've been seeing me use it quite a bit, probably because I use it almost all the time when I stamp. So again, we're going to use it for this in our big image. Now, what I like to do is I don't get all hung up on those magnets. I like to use my corner here. I just have a scrap piece of Whisper White. I have my big stamp. You know, I especially like it for big stamps because they're kind of hard to manhandle when you put them on a block. So this is so much easier to stamp that way. So I'm going to go ahead, put it where I want it on that scrap piece of paper, close it up, and pick it up. Now you'll notice I never put my stickers on my stamps. I've had people ask me about that. Personal preference, to me, I don't think they stick as well to the blocks and to the plate, and I can tell just fine which way is up and which way is down. And like in this case, and I think you even have it upside down, it doesn't matter because I'm just stamping on scrap paper. So we're going to go ahead and ink this up good. Just use your pad upside down. Once it's inked, I see a little mark on there. Go ahead, close it. Since it's a big stamp, make sure you give it some nice pressure, but I'm not worried about holding that big old block. Now this is why I really like using the stamparatus. You'll notice this always in the center, which is bold, and bold stamps, you know, have a tendency to not stamp completely, you know, filled in and nice and crisp. So we're going to ink that up really good. Make sure I'm back in the corner there and I can stamp it again. Special pressure right there in the middle where I know I want to make sure. And look at that. My image is so much better. I picked up, you know, and I could even do this a third time. I can see where it's not real dark right there. And that's, I like that Christmas. There we go. So we've got our image stamped. Now the thing with this is on my card, I wanted it to be really tight to the edges. And the way I've always stamped, because I hate getting all hung up on measurements and stuff, I think it's easier to stamp and then cut. So all I'm gonna do is grab my cutter here. I'm gonna line this up so I can just barely see those dots in there, giving me a little bit of space, and trim it. And now, especially after that first one, make sure you use the top so that you're flush. This will make sure you're square. Barely seeing the dots there. And then just go ahead and cut this all the way around. Always using that top, because that'll give you just a nice squared off piece of cardstock. So I'm not sure the size of that, and it doesn't really matter because I'm going to use it just like this. Now, this is a brand new punch. Detailed trio punch, I believe it's called, but there's actually 3 different images on here, or 3 different corners that you can punch. We're going to use the corner rounder. Now when you use this punch, the best way to do it is set it down on your table, put your cardstock in there, make sure it's tight over here. There's little ridges, so you can easily put it in there, make sure it's nice and flush and tight in both of those ridges, and then give it a press straight down. You don't want to push on the edge here, because that's the, you know, some people think, oh, I want this punch, so I punch here. Nope, you want to punch or push down right in the middle. Just use your whole hand, go straight down in the middle, and then we can just flip that around and get all 4 of them. So now all my corners are rounded. So there you can see our card. Now, another tip. How many of you guys have heard about or seen the shammy? Awesome, awesome, awesome way to clean your stamps. Now, you can see how nice and clean this is. I wanted to do this video quick while it still looked this way, because when you flip it over, this is what your chamois is going to end up looking like. This will not come off. I'm going to tell you right now, the uglier your chamois looks, the more we know that you've used it and you've loved it. So, really 2 different ways you can use it. Let's see, we're just gonna take this stamp here and I'm gonna stamp on a piece of cardstock. So as you're stamping, you can now just take this and rub it on there, and your stamp's gonna be clean. Push it in there, squirt it around a little bit. This is just a clear plastic case. I have found it's the best way to store it. I keep it right in there in the case. When I'm done stamping, I close it up and it keeps it damp for me. And then when it gets too yucky and my stamps aren't getting clean anymore, I'll take this, I'll run it under the faucet, and I'll wring it out and, you know, keep until all the water runs clear, but make sure you wring it out really, really good. I mean, you want it just damp, okay? So you can clean it just in there, and that's kind of one of the advantages of this. You can see how thick it is. There's other chamois out there on the market, and I have used the chamois that I've shared with you guys for cleaning my stamps for a long time, but it's thinner. So mine, there's no way I could set it in a case and use it like this, you know, just to clean up my stamps. So the other way that I use it, and especially like say with the stamparatus, is you can take the chamois, I mean, it's very flexible, okay? Pick it up in your hands and you can just wipe your stamp off like so. To get ink on the stamparatus, you can clean it off, but just go ahead and wipe your stamp like so. And like I said, it's gonna get stained, but that means you've used it and you've loved it. So we've talked about several new products. Chamois, our new paper that goes with all the colors, and our punch. So back to our cards here. Here's the one with the Mossy Meadow. I used the same stamp set for that one. And then both of these cards, I just added a fun greeting that is part of Another Wonderful Year is the stamp set that came from. So simple cards, as always, you know me, I'm all about quick and easy. It's got to be simple. Again, check the link that I have in the video. It'll take you to the blog post. It'll give you all the dimensions, all the products that I use for these easy cards. And I hope you love these new neutrals, even though we don't really think of them as neutrals. But as always, any questions at all, make sure to leave a comment or send me a message through my blog. I would be happy to help you with any stamping questions or any Stampin' Up! Questions. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be that person. I would be happy to send you a new catalog if you need one, or answer any questions or do anything that I can for you. So let me know. And until I have another video for you and I stamp with you again, have a stamp happy day.